Welcome to our third Patreon exclusive episode where we review a recent film or series for you, our Patreon supporters, as a thank you for monetarily supporting our efforts to continue to bring quality discussion about our favorite topics to our listeners and you, dear Patreon supporters.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Today,
guys.
we're talking about 2022's Glass Onion, written and directed again by Rian Johnson. It had a box office of $311.9 million, and it stars Daniel Craig, Edward Norton, Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe, Leslie Odom Jr., Catherine Hahn, Jessica Henwick, and Madeline Klein. So it got an Academy Award nomination for Best Writing. And yeah, what do you guys think of this wonderful little film?
Well, I think we missed a name.
Who'd we miss?
One of my favorite stars of this movie,
Which is
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Dong.
That's right.
I guess that's a cameo, though, right? And there are some notable cameos in this film, like notable cameos in this film.
I think he's the star, and I'm sticking with that.
Oh, all right. You were right earlier when you said.
I told you.
So amongst the cameos are Yo-Yo Ma,
He's
who's
brilliant.
in this, and then we have. You remember the last film we did, Knives Out? It was Christopher Plummer's last film. Well, this
Oh,
was
yeah.
also Angela Lansbury's last film.
Oh, yeah.
Her cameo in the
Wow.
beginning where they're playing that game. What's that game called? I've got it here somewhere. Is it called Among Us?
Among Us, yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's a couple of other notable people there in that cameo sequence, which are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Natasha Lyonne, and
Mhm.
the late great Stephen Sondheim.
Dave Bautista's mom
Oh yeah.
at the just a little bit in the first portion of the movie. She is flipping brilliant.
Yeah.
So very funny. And I love the rest of the movie as well. But for me, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is one of the stars, and she is the hero of the movie for me.
Any thoughts, Tanya?
What was the question? I feel like we went on such a tangent that I'm like, "Wah."
This is the complete tangent video, right?
I am Tangent Man today.
Well, I'll give you guys kind of the basic plot, and we can kind of go from there. And a little bit of history on this film. So Johnson wrote Glass Onion in 2020 during the COVID-19 lockdowns, with its setting of Greece coming from a desire to travel abroad when international travel had been shut down. His writing began from the premise that he wanted to write a who-dunnit vacation mystery in the style of stories Johnson loves, such as Evil Under the Sun, Death on the Nile, and The Last of Sheila. Johnson made it clear that Glass Onion was not a continuation of its predecessor, but a standalone film featuring new story and cast similar to the Hercule Poirot novels by Agatha Christie, which we kind of pointed out in the last episode we did.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's a structured group of friends and frenemies. Frenemies, I love that term. And it is. The one thing that stuck out to me in this film was just the how ostentatious everything was, the mansion and this island, and we went from a privileged family, right, of a bunch of like horrible people to a totally different type of privilege. What struck you guys about this? Obviously, we're not giving away spoilers, but we can kind of touch on these things without saying what happens in the film, right?
I think
Yeah. I call it the triple V, which is vapid, vain, and vile. Was
Oh,
basically the group of people that he was sort of studying in this film. One thing that I really like about Rian Johnson is the way that he tackles class and what that looks like, and the differences between class divides and like normal, grounded, rooted people versus whether it be new money or influencer disruptor money.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the way that he handles that and the way he writes it, I think is really brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool.
I really noticed a big contrast between the first movie focused on old money, where even though the people are still rotten inside, they have a more subdued and tasteful sense of class.
Right.
Uh, and in Glass Onion, we have, I don't think this will come as a spoiler to anyone who's even seen any promo for it, distinctly new money.
Nouveau
And
riche.
yes, and all of the sensibilities that come along with new money.
I love the air quotes for that.
um, and I also had a lot of fun with. I noticed what seems to be to me a difference in Benoit Blanc.
Mm,
Uh,
Yes.
he, whereas I got the distinct vibe from him in the first movie of Hercule Poirot. In this movie, I didn't really get Hercule Poirot. I got a little taste of Columbo.
mm.
I got just a hint of Monk, but the rest was a new detective who is absolutely marvelous, and I am so happy to see this new fantastic detective developing.
Mm.
I
I
totally agree, Ben. I noticed
Hey,
that as well, and I felt like he was so much more charming in this film versus
yeah,
Knives Out. There was more of a humanity and a vulnerability to him that we did not get to see in the first film.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Huh. Yeah, I thought he was really good in this. I mean, this character is perfect for him, and it's his best acting. From my opinion, it's his best acting to date. Um, as far
my
as the
opinion
film
too.
goes, my overall uh, opinion on the film is that the plot twists, the twists and winds, it just doesn't. It's not quite as ingenious as the first film. I feel like it's good. I really enjoyed it. It's really grand and funny, and it's a wild ride. I love the actors that are in the film, but it's not it to me. It's just not as good as that first film was, and it's maybe it shouldn't be compared to it because it is a standalone, but it's kind of hard not to when it's part of the Knives Out series. Um, what do you guys think?
Well, I will say when I first started watching it, of course, my initial thought was comparing it obviously to Knives Out.
Mhm.
And the first probably 15 or 20 minutes, I was not feeling it at all. I was like, God, this is kind of lame. And I just wasn't into it. And then something changed. I don't know what it was, but then it just became amazing. I actually liked it better than Knives Out because I
Wow.
feel like it was lighter. There was more comedy. I did a lot more LOLs for this movie than I did for Knives Out. And I like to laugh. I liked the goofiness. I loved the acting. Um, the random sounds throughout the film were brilliant.
What is that? That's the hourly dong.
It was just a lot of fun. And I
Hmm.
liked the lighthearted feel of it compared to Knives Out. They just had a slightly different vibe.
Right.
They were both good. I love Knives Out as well, but I think I like this one more.
How about you, Ben?
I will say that I liked them both about the same, but I liked each one for its own strengths. And I agree 100% with Tanya on what the strengths of each one was. They seemed to both be going for slightly different feels, still murder mysteries.
Hmm.
Um, I did really enjoy the lighthearted and more, perhaps more comedically oriented style of this one,
Hmm.
but I also very much enjoyed the classic uh, rich jerk family old house murder mystery feel of the first one as
Yeah.
well.
I do like that we went from a locked room murder mystery with Knives Out to a locked island murder mystery with Glass Onion.
Yes.
It was a rather ingenious way to still isolate the characters
Mhm.
and put them in a situation, a heightened situation. I really did enjoy it. Don't get me wrong when I say that I didn't enjoy it as much. It's a wonderful film. It's brilliantly acted, but it just, for me, it was not quite as ingenious as the first film was.
Hater.
But oh yeah, well, are you ready for popping? Let's get to popping.
All right.
Tanya, how many pops do you give Glass Onion?
I am actually going to give it 5 pops. For all the reasons I said before, all the little quirky aspects of it were great. The acting was phenomenal. Janelle Monáe effing stole this movie. She did the most amazing job. Yeah, but they were all fantastic, and I just enjoyed the quirky humor of it all. It was super fun.
All right, another 5 pops from Tanya.
I know
We're on
what's
a
going
streak
on.
here.
I'm turning over a new leaf in 2023, guys. Yes.
I kind
Ben?
of like the movie.
How about you?
I enjoyed this one so much. That's kind of my main factor is how much did I enjoy it. This one is a 5 pops for me.
Wow.
Like the first one, here's something that I wanted to mention, but forgot to mention earlier. When I watched it through again, I had a completely brand new experience because there were so many things that now I was looking to see if I could see them before the later reveal in the movie. And I had a lot of fun hunting for those. They're not technically Easter eggs, but I guess you could still think of them that way. I had tons of fun. 5 pops for me.
Wow. All right. For me, this film, as I said, not quite as strong as the first film. I really enjoyed it, which is why it's going to get 4 pops from me. I would watch this movie again, and I would recommend it to people, but it's not a 5 popper for me, and doesn't mean it's bad. And I think a lot of people will enjoy this, and they'll give it 5 pops as well. It's just not going to be me. But there we go.
That's okay. You're dead to me.
Yeah. Well, you never know. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting us on Patreon. These opinions are not endorsed by anyone but us. So, and even we don't necessarily endorse each other's opinions. So there you go. Glass Onion. Go see it. Watch
my
it.
teddy bear right over there. He endorses my opinion.
If you haven't seen this film, we recommend it, right? We all recommend it.
Oh,
You guys gave 5 pops, so
Yes.
I would imagine you do. And thank you for supporting us. We love you. We appreciate you. And our new season starts very soon here. We're going to start recording for season 3 of Popped. So on top of these Patreon episodes, we are going to be doing our regular season stuff. And are we going to put out a list? Do you think we should put out a list of the episodes on Patreon? Maybe we can do some polls on there too. We'll come up with some polls for you guys and be
Yeah.
a little more interactive on there since, you deserve that, right?
Yeah. I think, we should probably have a strategy session to discuss things like that.
That's right.
What
Well,
a great idea, Ben.
all right. Well, I guess we're off and we're leaving as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
guys.
everybody.